Shan, I assume you know what that is.
It's a checker.
Yeah. Sort of a strange question, but what is the meaning of a checker?
It's a marker for a game.
Yeah, it's a marker. Right now, it has no meaning at all because the checkerboard isn't there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right.
Actually, you and I are going to assume that that's a bit, the tiniest piece of information.
Okay.
And depending on what's around it, it can take on all kinds of meaning. For example, if I put it there, what is the meaning of the bit?
It's a period.
And it means?
The end of a sentence.
The end of something, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So you take up the bit.
Okay.
And now put it down there. You know where you can put it? Right there. Now what does it mean?
Now it's a decimal point.
Which means?
It separates whole numbers from parts of a number.
Right. Okay, take up the bit.
Okay.
You know where to put it now?
Yeah, right there. It's part of a question mark.
And the meaning of a question mark?
And is asking something.
Yeah. And notice how the dot has to have this extra thing around it in order to make the idea of a question. Okay, now you need two. Here's one. Now what are the meaning of the bits?
Now it's a division sign.
And that means?
You're dividing this number into that many parts.
Okay. And if without the bits there?
It's a minus sign.
See, it could be bits like that in a row, you see.
Right.
Okay, and then it would be a minus sign. Okay, take up the two bits and put them down there at the end.
Now it's a colon.
Yes, which means?
You usually put them when you're going to start a list of something.
Well, a list, I like to think of it as an equal sign, that whatever's on each side of it is sort of equal.
Okay.
And by the way, if there were only one, it would be a period again, right? Okay, take up the two bits, and now put them down any place you like there. Now, what do they mean?
Now they're musical notes.
Yeah. What's the meaning of that one?
That's a G, and that one's a B.
Also, notice that they don't have any flags or anything sticking up, so it means what?
That they're whole notes.
A whole note, right. In fact, here's a whole bunch of little bits. Look at them all.
Oh, yeah, there's lots of them in that.
Yeah. Now, they have flags sticking up on them, too.
Yeah, the flags change how long
you hold the note, right. So that's sort of the visual version of a whole bunch of bits. Here's a slightly different version, look.
It's one of those little piano things.
Yeah, and the dots, what do they mean here?
The air goes through the holes and makes music.
And makes music, yeah, right. So you see, it really depends on what's around the little tiny bit, what it's actually meaning is. Now, would you please read this for me?
This is what blind people use, isn't it?
Yes, it's Braille, right.
It must be hard to learn how to.
As a matter of fact, a friend of
Read it
mine
with your
took a look at it
fingers.
and said, gee, it's hard to read, and then realized that after all, blind people can't read, see it, you know, so that they have to feel it. And it's easy to feel,
But you
even
gotta know
though
what
it's,
they mean.
yeah. Well, here's the alphabet.
Oh, neat. They're all different dots.
Right. So you could rub your finger along here and get the ABCs, and after practice a while, you could now maybe read some of these. So why don't you take that along home with you and see if you can practice reading Braille. Now, scientists and engineers have used the binary system with a series of bits. You know what binary means?
No?
Binary means two.
Okay.
And in this case, the bit is either on or off. And here's sort of a variation of it. Here's a column. When there's a bit in that column, like that, it means a 1.
Okay.
Okay, so put a 1 down there.
So what
Now-
about that one? That would be 0, right?
That would be 0, so put a 0 there.
Okay.
Right. Okay. Now, if there's a bit in that column,
That would be 2.
that'll be 2. I'm now going to give you a very difficult problem. Can you put a 3?
Would be a 2 plus a 1.
Very good. 2 plus 1. Okay, it's 3. Okay, now do a 4.
This one right here. 'Cause
All right.
That's the 4 column.
5.
4 plus 1.
Next.
6 would be a 4 and a 2.
Next.
That would be, a 7 would be a 4, a 2, and a 1.
And an 8?
And 8 would be just here because of the 8 column.
Now, don't forget, in a computer, in the actual mechanism inside a computer, in the little chips, this is happening at the speed of light. So it's done very, very quickly, and the adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing are all done in this sort of system.
That's neat.
Now, you probably don't think about it, but when you look at a picture, you're very often looking at a series of bits, and depending entirely upon what's around each bit, it has new meaning. In fact, there's a picture over there, see?
Oh, it's a tennis ball.
Yes. However, take a close look at it, and you'll see what?
The whole picture's made up of little bits.
The little tiny bits,
And they're all different shades.
The different shades and whatnot in order to create the impression of the bit. So if somebody asks you what a bit is, what are you going to say?
It's the tiniest piece of information, and it can make...
And its meaning?
Its meaning depends on its surroundings.
And so far we've seen what?
It can be a period.
Period.
Or a question mark, or musical notes, or it can make a picture.
Or part of a binary bit, or make a picture. Very good, yes.